All right, I'm here with James. James, we did the preview the other day together, and I'll be honest with you and Dad, it felt like a bit of a therapy session. I enjoyed it because for the first time, I saw Arsenal fans sort of going through it, that what we've gone through. Going into the game, I predicted 2-2. You said that you think you could nick it 2-1, and it almost happened. Do you think that it was the injuries, and not taking anything away from Trent's pass and Salah's finish, but do you think injuries ultimately sort of made your team a bit disjointed and then caused you to concede the goal?
Well, a couple of things. So firstly, thanks for having me back.
Pleasure.
Yeah, it was great to chat before the game. Secondly, I think Dan said 2-1. I was actually 2-0. I was even more... I was stupidly thought we wouldn't concede, having conceded in almost every other game, but there we go. And thirdly, it was a really weird one because I guess before I answer it, I kind of want to flip the question back to you. I'm not asking this in like a smug way. I'm genuinely interested. Do you think my confidence before the game was justifying the performance you saw? I'm just curious, like, from what you saw from Arsenal, basically.
Yeah, so
I'll sort of explain what I mean, but yeah, what do you think?
I don't think you were smug at all. And if anything, I know I'm going to get grilled for this, but I felt Liverpool fans were being a bit smug. I knew you had injuries and stuff, but we had Liverpool fans, shout out to a man like Matt. He was predicting 3-1. I heard some others saying 4-1. We're going to cook Arsenal. And I was just like, guys, this is still Arsenal at the Emirates. Like, maybe I always thought Timber and Saka would play, but obviously I knew Odegaard was in there, Saliba. So I'm like, guys, they're still not a rubbish team. This isn't Arsenal 4 or 5 years ago where you can rock up there with a few injuries and you can absolutely wash them. So I predicted a 2-2, not because I was scared, but because just looking at the balance of the game, no Alisson, no Jota, who I think has a really good record against you and is a real killer in front of goal. I just thought a 2-2 would be the result. But I'll be honest, in hindsight, especially after watching the game, I'm over the moon with a 2-2 now.
Yeah. So the reason I kind of threw the question back at you there was because I think the first half, what Arsenal showed was everything I was trying to say to Liverpool fans before. I was chatting to Grizz as well.
Shout out to Grizz.
Yeah, I would love Grizz, man. And I think maybe some Liverpool fans were taken aback by my confidence. And mine was purely because I know what this team can produce. And I kept saying the injuries are no excuse. Going into the game, we know either who we have or who we don't, and we prepare for it. And I believe that after years and years of spending money, and now this is Arteta's 5th year and all that, we're in a position where losing 2 or 3 players, we should be able to cope. And I'm with you. I thought Saka and Tim would be fit, so I never really took it quite as seriously as others. However, I do think there's a difference, and I'm trying really hard not to make it an excuse thing, more an explanation thing. But I do think there's a difference knowing what you're going into minute 1 with and then adjusting to losing Gabriel. I mean, I didn't for 1 second ever fathom a world in which we lost Gabriel because he never comes off injured, even when he does have a problem. I never sort of picture one which he was kind of our leader at the back, although big up Ben White, I thought he did well, and Partey slotted in brilliantly. And then we probably thought Timber would not be able to see out the game, but then you think maybe Kivior goes there like he did against you guys in February when he came on second half and did really well. But he was asked to do a different job and then we're turning to an 18-year-old. So again, Arsenal had problems in the second half in terms of an intensity and an intention to go get the 3rd goal. And I think that criticism's fair. But I do think we struggle to repeat the aggression of the first half because if you're up against Salah, Nunez, and then a Diaz and a Gakpo or whatever, what do like all 3 of them have? Pace and power. Like all 3 of them. I mean, Liverpool basically, since Jurgen Klopp arrived, haven't signed a forward that, doesn't have the pace and power to their game. I love Trossard, but he would never be a Liverpool forward. He just wouldn't because he doesn't have that. So you counter that with Timber, Gabriel, Partey. Even Ben White's got that bit of athleticism. And that's why Zinchenko didn't start. And we moved Partey out to get Marino and Rice in. The minute you went with big up to Lewis Kelly, 18-year-old fair play. And Kivior, look, I think he's poor on the goal, but otherwise I think did okay. But you've now got very different profiles in this situation and you just can't repeat the aggression. So I forgive Arsenal to a degree, but there was something about it even before Gabriel went off injured that wasn't right about our intention to go and do what we did in the first half and the second half.
Completely agree. And again, do you think, obviously right now you're probably annoyed with the draw because you were leading twice, but do you not think that in a few months' time, when everyone's back and fit, you could actually look back on this game and go, well, we went toe-to-toe with Liverpool, who were seen at the time as one of the best teams in Europe. Yeah. And not only did we go toe-to-toe, we went toe-to-toe with them with a depleted team, before and during the game. Do you think this will actually galvanise Arsenal and could actually push them to believe a bit more that you can do something this season?
Well, but the thing is, I think we get caught up in fan media and like what fans are saying about injuries and whether we're worried about a game or whatever it might be. But I think the players believe they're good. I do. I think they believe they're a good team. They know what they're doing week in, week out. They know who they're working with, and they've seen what they've done the last 2 years, which, yes, hasn't yielded a trophy, but has led to 2 legitimate good title challenges against one of the... I mean, you guys know. I mean, I know we haven't got to the points tallies you guys have, and you did get the Premier League, but you know what City could be. It's just relentless. Yeah. So I think they know they're a good team. The problem we've got, and what really kind of just adds this bitter taste to a result that in so many other contexts and ways could be taken as a good point. You know what? Context, decent point. City didn't beat us once last season. They won the league. So it's not as though, didn't feel like anything was ever really decided today. But I think what's difficult is we've got Newcastle and Chelsea away to come. I don't know who your next games are, but I think you've just entered a bit of a tough run, if I'm not mistaken.
So we've got Brighton in the League Cup and then in the league, and then we've got Real Madrid, Leverkusen, and a few other teams coming up as well.
Okay, who's your next away Premier League game? Brighton.
Brighton.
Who's after?
Brighton after that, or I can't remember off the top of my head.
On the spot there,
but we've got a tough fixture run.
A bit of a run in a moment now. So anyway, the reason I bring it up is because City, I think, have Bournemouth away. That's the hardest game they've got basically till the international break, and I think there's 2 more. They just had Southampton. The problem is that we've got Newcastle, Chelsea away, which again, in so many other contexts, 4 out of 6 points isn't the end of the world. City just drew at Newcastle, right? And Chelsea are significantly better than last year. But we just lost to Bournemouth, and we, from twice winning positions against Liverpool, failed to win. So it puts immense pressure to win those games, because now that 5-point gap between us and City could very quickly be 7 and then 9. You don't come back from that. You just don't, in my opinion. So
each side to cut you, even this early in the season, you don't think there's a chance?
There's always a chance, and you keep fighting and you hope, but that's big. 9, basically, and that's if we draw, let alone lose. Yeah. So I think that's what it is. I think this was seen as, if we won today, and then won and drew one of the next 2, then we know we're max 5 points behind City, and I think still be 4 with you, but I can't quite remember how it worked out. And you're going, well, hold on. So we've just gone to Newcastle, to Chelsea, we've had Liverpool at home, we've gone to Tottenham, we've gone to Villa, we've gone to City, all in our first 12. I mean, that's 6 really tough fixtures in our first 10, 11, 12 games. And we're within 5 points. You look at that and go, that's great work. Yeah. That can still be the case for Arsenal. Yeah. But now you've got to go win those games. That's immense pressure. Yeah, so I feel deflated, because actually I really liked the efforts of the team today. I thought the work rate from the players was fantastic. I actually thought we played that second half, even though I understand the criticism of the team from a lot of Arsenal fans and maybe pundits, whatever. I think as individuals, we really stood up to it in the second half. As individuals, as a team, it wasn't quite cohesive like we want. But no one shied away. It just was what it was. And, people like to talk like Liverpool aren't also a very good team with a good manager, with good tactics and good players who are trying to also achieve something out of the game. And you weren't great on the day, if I'm being really honest. I know I'm on Kopish, don't hate me all. Yeah. I didn't think Liverpool were great. I really didn't. It kind of, again, cemented some of the feeling I had going into this game, which was, I know it's 11 wins in 12, but have Liverpool been that amazing? Yeah. And I saw a lot of that in this performance. But you have decisive players, far more than Arsenal. Saka's like our closest. Yeah. You have decisive players. Trent, whether it be a pass, he wasn't great today.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Salah, whether it be a goal, he was in and out. And Van Dijk, and Konate. Konate is an unbelievable player. And look, for me, Saliba, Gabriel, I love them to bits, but I think we're just going to have to accept as fans, we love who we love, you love who you love, and you're just never going to trade places because there you go. The way Konate made Liverpool fans feel today. Yeah, I get it. You're never gonna argue for Saliba, but then how Saliba's made me feel, it's the same way around. So honours even. Could have been another result another day for Arsenal with the same performance, but it wasn't. So you just keep going and see what the Premier League throws up.
Completely agree, James. Always a pleasure having you on, man.
Pleasure, man.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed the week.
Best of luck. Well, again, I'm not going to lie to you. Not best of luck, but may the best team at the end of the season win.
You know what I'll say? Genuinely, of all the big 6 clubs, I've never had a hatred for Liverpool. I've never had that you know, oh, they wind me up, I hate them, or we've got to destroy. I've never had that same feeling towards Liverpool. So until Arsenal can't win it, once Arsenal can't win whatever it is, I'm not saying I want Liverpool to win it, I don't, but I find it far less offensive Liverpool winning it than some other teams, let me put it that way.
I appreciate it.
I like Liverpool fans, to be fair.
I appreciate it. Bless you, James.
In a bit.
Nice.